Hello, everyone. So, I've been debating for the last few weeks what I wanted my first Instagram TV video to be. And I think the best thing that I could do was make the first video about how I stay motivated and how I got back both times after having a baby, because this is the number one question that I get from followers, friends, other moms, just pretty much the most common question. So there's three things I'm going to focus on in this video. And the first thing is consistency. And I've said it before, if you've been following me for a while, it's one of the things I talk about all the time, but you really do have to be consistent, and you make no excuses. And for the last, I guess it's been a little over 10 years, I never missed more than a week out of the gym in 10 years, ever. The only time that I got close to it was after having 2 C-sections. So I had a C-section with Isaiah and a C-section with Oki. And I went back to the gym 10 days-ish postpartum, though. Now, obviously, after having a C-section, I didn't go back and teach classes or cycle or do high-intensity interval training, but I went back to the gym. And one of the things that does is it keeps me in the groove, keeps me going, and the mentality that I'm here, I'm showing up, stays. Whereas if you take days, weeks, months off at a time, you fall back into that pattern, and it's a lot harder to get back. And yes, technically it wasn't cleared for exercise, but I was walking, doing rehab movements, self-rehabbing my core and my movement patterns at that point. And before kids, it was rare if I ever missed more than 2 days in a row of the gym. And that's kind of what I live by, after having kids too, is if I miss more than 2 days, the third day I have to go to the gym. Because then you start getting back in that pattern of like, oh, it's kind of nice to do whatever I feel like this morning. So pretty much every single morning I pull the kids out of the house and we go to the gym. Even, as a group fitness instructor now, more so than in the past, I still try to find at least 2 to 3 days a week where I'm just working out for me. 2 to 3 workouts, I should say, not even days, where I'm doing something just for me instead of working out, motivating other people, and with other people working out. The second thing is I love what I do. I love fitness, and you have to find what you love. There's so many different avenues now. There's really no excuse for anyone to say, well, I don't like to work out. There's something for everyone. As someone who's been teaching group fitness classes, and I've met different people from just teaching different formats. I mean, you have aqua aerobics. I'm just using that as an example because it's a class I teach. But, you could swim. You could take yoga. There's Pilates if high-intensity interval training's not for you. There's CrossFit gyms. There's burn boot camps that are just for women, and other gyms that are just women-oriented if you're intimidated by men. If you're a man, there's group fitness. You don't have to stay in the weight room. Some men don't like to lift weights. There's cycling. Maybe you just like to run. Then you don't even need to go to the gym, but you're being active. There's really no excuse to not find something that you at least like to do. Maybe you don't have to love it and do it every day, but maybe 3-4 days a week you enjoy doing it. And that could take trial and error. That could take months in and of itself, trying different things out. But you also have to keep yourself excited too. So sometimes we really like something, or we enjoy it, and then you kind of burn out with it. That kind of happens with me when I was lifting a lot, because lifting is extremely, extremely mental, right? So your central nervous system also burns out to a degree. But sometimes, you lose that excitement with something and you have to do something else for a little while. I go in phases where I might do a lot of yoga, I might do a lot of cycling. I might do a lot of powerlifting. Might do a lot more bodybuilding. So it kind of depends on the season in life I've been in. A lot of you probably realizing like I'm not doing as much bodybuilding and powerlifting right now because it's just not the season I'm in. I'm doing it maybe 2-3 times a week, but I'm not living in it, which is fine. And, even though there's days where I beat myself up at it because I'm like, oh, this is what I love to do. I don't have time for it. I don't. It's fine. But that's what you have to do. You have to find something that you love, that keeps you excited. And then if you find that you're bored, move on. Do something else. And then most likely you're going to go back to the thing that originally brought you to fitness anyway. And so, point 2, check. Point 3 is balance. Balance and don't be too hard on yourself. We live obviously in a world ever changing. Our lives change. We have dramatic events that happen each year, or at least it seems like every year something happens to me. I don't know who's with me, but every year it's like life-changing events. Having babies, getting pregnant, moving, different jobs, meeting, having to meet all different people. It feels like my life is a revolving door all the time, right? But you have to keep moving with it and find balance in between those things. And balance also with your nutrition and your fitness. I don't eat perfect. I love sweets. Definitely my downfall, right? I don't need fried foods. I don't need potato chips. But sweets, that's my weakness, right? Some people might be wine. But you can have those things. You don't have them every day, or you have them in moderation always, right? You don't overdo it. When you find yourself, using food as an outlet, that's when you should be concerned. If you're doing that, you need to talk to somebody because that's a problem. That's actually a disorder. And then finding balance with your workouts. You can't do high intensity interval training every single day. You can't lift every single day without usually some help, typically, right? You might be able to lift 5-6 days a week if you are on like splits where you might be just doing chest one day and back another day, right? But you can't go do a total body workout every single day. Your body won't recover. You can't cycle every single day, or at least you shouldn't. So you have to find balance in what you do and then in what you eat. And that's, and then also you just can't be too hard on yourself. So if you miss 2 days at the gym, it's not the end of the world. You go back on the 3rd day. Even if you miss a whole week, oh well, the week's gone, new week started, get back to the gym. So I've noticed that over, with in my experience the last 10 years working with people is, they get to that point where it's like, oh, well, it's been a whole week and I haven't gone to the gym, or I missed a whole month. So what's the point going back now? There's always a point to go back. You start fresh, you start back. And it could take months to a year really to find consistency, find a groove, find things you love, and stick with it. And that's where patience comes in, and I'm not really talking about a 4th thing here, but patience kind of is the underlying, everything. You have to be patient with finding what you love. You have to be patient with finding consistency, patience with balance. It's not a race. You just have to wait it out. And that's, I don't get my body back immediately after I have kids. Typically, it takes me a full year to get back to what I like to be at. This time it took me, I'd say, more like 11 to 13 months to get back where I wanted to be, and probably more like 14 to 15 months to get back to I feel like I'm back to where I was before I got pregnant. In terms of just overall strength, leanness, just those types of things. And that could be a long time. Once you have a kid, you're like, I have to wait like a whole year to look like what I looked like or feel like what yes, you do. you were pregnant for 10 months. It's almost a year. And the first 2 months of basically having a baby, you're not going to do all that much. So yeah, you are looking at a whole year. And so it's really important to give yourself that time. And if you don't know what you're doing, this isn't necessarily the 4th point, but it's the last point, is you do need to find, someone to help you if you don't know what you're doing. if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to fail. You're not going to get results. You're going to give up. And then you're just going to end up back where you started. Now, I'm not saying that means you need to find help, online. That means you might need to go to group fitness classes. You might need to hire an one-on-one personal trainer at the gym. You might use YouTube, use workout videos, something that at least helps you understand what you should be doing, right? Because when you walk into the gym, it can be super overwhelming for someone who has never gone or who, might not be going regularly. It can be overwhelming. That's why I usually always steer, especially women, into the group fitness realm. You learn a lot about body awareness, how to move your body, form cues, what your body should look like. You have mirrors there to see how your movements are. So it's a really good place to start. Even if you don't stay there because you don't really like it, it's a good place to pick up things. That's why the first year that I was at the gym, which is my freshman year of college, I took every class and I learned so much from all the instructors and picking up cues and learning that's how I need to do this movement. That's how this movement's done. That I was able to teach myself. And so that part is super important. So don't forget that if you don't know what you're doing, you do need help. So those are basically everything in a nutshell. I'll try to make some posts about this in the next week or two. Maybe I'll just make one, or maybe I'll separate it out. But if you have any questions about this, you need any more advice about any of the points that I just brought up, please feel free to send me a message or comment on the video, and that way other people see the comment and I can answer on there to help everybody else. So happy Monday and have an awesome, fantastic week. Bye.